Hi everyone, this is Tara with Be Well Healthy Living. Today I really wasn't planning on doing this video. However, with the events that transpired within the last 24 hours and watching kind of the aftermath on social media, I felt like it was a good thing to come to YouTube again and do a video on how to cope with difficult circumstances. So I'm going to be talking about some of the things about mindset, but then I'm also going to give you some action items as well, so that way you can actually practice coping techniques, and then the kind of the bright spot in difficult times that we can look forward to. So part of what prompted me to do this video is that I see a lot of the reactions from after the election, from the election results, and I've been concerned for a while about the mental health, the state of the mental health for Americans for a very long time. However, I'm seeing so much right now, and I'm especially concerned because I see that a lot of people are having difficulties coping with something that's beyond their control. And so I kind of want to put things in perspective a little bit and go over some mindset changes that might help, along with those actionable items that we can do to help calm and reduce anxiety as well. And so I did do a video a few days ago that was kind of like how to deal with the election. And so now this is even more actionable items: how to calm stress, how to do um, relaxation techniques. So what I'm seeing, and I've been seeing this for a long time, even long before the election, is that there's an inability to deal with difficult circumstances, inabilities to deal with people who think and act differently than you, have a different belief system, that come from different backgrounds. So there seems to be this unraveling that comes anytime there is opposition to a person's particular worldview or point of view. And this isn't in particular, this is I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm not taking sides. I'm not doing Republican, Democrat. I'm not doing that. This is specifically just to talk about those coping skills. And so I feel like part of it's generational. I feel like, we kind of laugh at Gen X, the different generations. And we always say the Gen X are the ones that kind of just go with it. These are the latchkey kids that learned how to come home, from school when no one's there, and to make our own, food and drink from hoses. And so I kind of, sometimes the older generation will look at the younger generations and they see an inability to cope with difficult situations and circumstances. And I'm here to say that in time, as you grow older, you've been through a bunch of stuff in life and circumstances that are extremely challenging and difficult. And there will always, always be things in life that we cannot control. There will always be things beyond our control. And we need to look at things in the bigger picture and go, you know, people are having anxiety over somebody that might be thousands of miles away, that was elected president. But the reality is that we have our health, we have our loved ones, we have a roof over our head, we have food on the table. Some of us actually have struggles in that. There is struggles with homelessness. There is struggles with putting food on the table. There are those struggles. So there will always be something, but we have to look at how do we cope in the face of difficult circumstances. I mean, there have been horrific things. There have been genocide in other countries. And so we have to look at, can you imagine what it would be like to watch your loved ones die and murdered in front of your very eyes? Or what about having a child, your precious baby that might have died in a horrific way or disappeared, or perhaps a spouse suddenly cheats on you and leaves you, or there's a natural disaster and your home is ripped up and you basically destroys everything you have and that you own, or that you start a business or you have, your investments, and you come and you have a financial failure. There's always going to be something that's going to cause major stress and major impact. And so to pretend like those things are never going to happen, I mean, God forbid, we don't want some of those horrible things to ever happen. And if you can go through life without anything traumatic happening to you, then consider yourself lucky. But I feel like most people, if you talk to anyone that's 50 or over, they're going to tell you some of the hard stuff that they've been through. They've got stories to tell. So we all have to face the idea that there are going to be something and some ideas that we cannot change. We have to accept what we cannot change. And so in Taoism, there is a Taoist principle, the art of being like water. We need to be able to go with the flow like water for inner peace. And that's to be adaptable in the face of change, in the face of challenges. And when you think of water flowing, it goes where it is for less effort. So we need to be like water to be able to have more calm and more peace in our life. So I actually would like to talk about that Taoist principle in another video, but today I really want to get to those 12 techniques. Another thing that is really important in your mindset is that people that believe in a higher power, people who have a faith in God or the universe, or basically anything that's bigger than us, typically tend to fare a lot better in the face of difficult circumstances, because they know that they are not in this alone, that they are going to get through this. They have strength. So if you have a connection to, if you have a belief system and you believe in a higher power, I strongly recommend that you use prayer and meditation to get out of yourself, to basically look beyond your personal bubble and have a peace that can transcend the here and now of this physical body that we're in. Those are some of the mindset things that I wanted to start with. But now here are some techniques that I would actually like to share with you that will help you in any type of anxiety or stressful situation. The first item, it would be breath work, to breathe. When you breathe in and you breathe out, you're going to have more oxygen entering. It's going to enter you into a state of relaxation. A common, well-known exercise is the 4-7-8 method, where you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold it for 7 seconds, you hold your breath for 7, and you release for 8. Again, that's you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold it for 7 seconds, and you release for 8 seconds. The number 2 thing that you could do is to connect with your senses. This is a common grounding practice, and this is one of my personal favorites for anxiety. This is utilizing all 5 senses to feel more relaxed and get in touch with your body. So what you would do is, as you sit there, as you lay there, you look at 5 things, name 5 things that you see, then name 4 things that you can touch. Then you name 3 things that you could hear, 2 things that you can smell, and then 1 thing that you can taste. Again, 5 things that you could see, 4 things that you could touch, 3 things that you could hear, 2 things that you could smell, and 1 thing that you could taste. I guarantee you this exercise does wonders to get you grounded in the midst of having fear or panic or anxiety. The third thing is talk therapy. This is when you can actually visit a therapist, talk it out, talk through your fears, your anxieties, your panic. I think when you hold it in, you have a tendency to create the worst scenario in your head. So when you talk about it, it releases it. You're able to kind of talk yourself into a healing mode. That could be talking with a therapist, talking with some clergy, a pastor, talking with somebody that you trust, a trusted friend. And that even is talking with somebody that might disagree with you. Sometimes talking through with them and asking them, why did you do this? Why did you vote this way? What were the main issues? Sometimes talking with those talking through that will make you realize that some things that you've been thinking in your mind are exaggerated, that they're not as bad as you have been feeling them to be. The number 4 thing is to look for common ground. This is really important to understand the other person's point of view. It's important to understand them as a fellow human being. So you might have voted differently than your neighbor or your friend, but perhaps you have 10 other things that bind you and you have in common that you like to share. So when you focus on what's common, look for the things that you both love and admire. That puts things into perspective, and you're able to see each other as fellow human beings rather than an us versus them. The fifth item, actionable item that you can do is to move. That's walk. Go outside and walk, get some exercise, get outside in fresh air, get sunlight. As you walk and you move, you're breathing in more oxygen, which is relaxing. You're moving the blood, which actually also helps with relaxation. If you can go in nature and move, like on a hike, this is highly recommended because being in nature with trees and all the natural environment can actually also help relax you. So moving, getting that blood circulating, getting outside will help relax you. The number 6 actionable item is to journal. Sometimes it helps to put our feelings and emotions down with a pen and paper, the old fashioned way. Sometimes people will journal on video, and that's okay too. Sometimes they'll blog about it and type it into a computer, into a blog, into something. That's okay too. As long as you are getting your emotions and your feelings out of your body and onto paper, onto a computer, onto something else, you will work through your emotions. You'll be able to process it a lot better. The number 7 actionable item is to limit caffeine. Caffeine is a known agitator. It's great for particular uses at some times, but if you can limit caffeine, which is agitating, I highly recommend that you lower your caffeine intakes to have a more calming effect. You can slowly replace caffeine with other things. You can cut it in half with a good water processed decaf. If you can find a good quality decaf, go half caffeine, half decaf until you can lower your intake. And then also make sure that if you are getting limited amounts of caffeine, do very, very small amounts and always have it in the morning, 1 to 2 hours after waking. Do not have it in the afternoon, as this will affect your sleep. And sleep is one of the things that you really need during times of high stress. The number 8 actionable item is to cuddle. Cuddle with your dog, with your cat, with your kids, with your spouse. Cuddling will produce oxytocin, which is a feel-good hormone. That will help produce that hormone, which will give you a better feeling. So cuddling with your best loved ones, your dog, your animals, your pets, all of that is so good for your health and for your mental well-being. The number 9 actionable item is do not start any type of extreme diet. Physical exercise is fine. Physical exercise is actually good for you because it gets the blood flowing, you get more oxygen, and it does help reduce stress. I am actually referring to do not start any type of extreme dietary changes. Do not try to limit carbohydrates with a keto or carnivore diet at this time. You need carbohydrates to help with serotonin production, and serotonin is the feel-good hormone. That's why studies have shown that under high moments of stress, we are prone to overeating because we want those constant carbohydrate hits to help let that feel-good hormone. So please do not start any type of extreme diet. However, be aware of your need to stress eat to help reduce stress. So please keep that in mind. Watch your stress eating during this time. A good helpful tip for that will be to keep your blood sugar low in the morning. Start your day with protein and fat only and get your carbohydrates for lunch or later in the day when it's not going to affect your blood sugar spikes in the first part of the day. The number 10 actionable item is to start something artistic. That could be as much as drawing, as creating something, anything that you could do that is artistic that is going to get you to utilize that creativity in you. That will also help as a relaxing exercise. The number 11 actionable item is to listen to calm music. As you could listen to calm music throughout the day. Somebody like Enya is really, really great. Classical music, something that is going to relax you. Also, ASMR videos are really good. Those are videos that have more sounds that have a tendency to invoke a little bit of more physical feelings like goosebumps. Some people get it, some people don't. However, the sounds could still be relaxing. Also, sleep sounds. You can go to sleep putting on videos that have the sounds of flowing water or crickets in the night forest. There are lots of great calm things to listen to. So I highly recommend listening to anything, especially the later in the evening. You can listen to more upbeat music during the daytime and your calming music at night. One of the things you will never hear me encourage is saying a whole group of people and talking about them in a derogatory manner. We have seen far too much of this and it needs to stop. It puts us into that us versus them mentality. I have seen people on the left say that everybody on the right are say horrible things about all of the people who voted a certain way on the right. And I have seen people on the right say horrible things about people on the left. So I'm here to say that that needs to stop. Anytime you are calling another human being or large groups of human being and not basing it off the individual, if you are calling large groups of human being evil, horrible things, it is not good for your mental health. It's going to drag you down into a spiral of anger and hate and negative energy. That has to stop if you want your mental health to improve. So to start, let go of that toxic name calling and start to look at them like human beings and find out why they voted a certain way. And I don't care what side of the aisle you are on, find out why they voted a certain way, and you will be surprised. Most of the time, you will find somebody who truly cares about our country. You will find somebody who truly cares, and they just had another way to go around it. They just had another way because of their life experiences and their perspective. So please stop with the name calling, elevate yourself to a much higher level, and your mental health will improve. So I just gave you 11 actionable items to help and cope with stress. And I hope that those will wind up being helpful for you. I can go into details of each of those in future videos, but I just wanted to throw that out there so you can try something, so you'll have something immediately in your toolkit that you could use to help calm and relax you right now. So the last thing I'd like to close with is sometimes during deep emotional crises where your entire world collapses, you can experience something what's called the dark night of the soul. And this is a spiritual thing that happens when all of your meaning in life that you thought you had collapses and everything is different. So there's no meaning to life almost anymore. And I know it sounds really bad or really depressive. However, it could actually be a positive time for you. Many spiritual people that have spiritual leaders have gone through uh, dark nights of the soul. And the thing about them is that you come out the other end more calm, more spiritually connected, and happier. And most people, they're not the same, because when you realize the meaningless of what this tangible life is, you connect more with your spirit. You're gonna be changed. You're gonna be calm. And there's different types of a spiritual awakening, but sometimes when everything and you truly hit rock bottom and you feel like you question reality, you're feeling like, what am I doing? and you might feel sad, and you are going to feel periods of deep emotional stress. It's okay to go through those emotions because you're working through those things. You're working through basically what is the meaning of life. So the dark night of the soul is one of the most profound spiritual awakenings that you can go through, and the only way you can experience that is through profound loss. I know it sounds crazy, but sometimes profound loss can change us for the better in ways we never even possibly imagined. So there is the silver lining to this cloud has a silver lining, and know that not everything um, it's the end. And most of the time, the things that we're afraid of in our minds is an over exaggeration. We need a lot of times our mind plays tricks with us, and we stew on it and stew on it and stew on it, and it just gets bigger than what it really is. And that's why talking it out, talking with people, getting those thoughts moved from our brain out of our mouth and among other people, whether that be a therapist, a pastor, or friends, loved ones, whoever it might be, or even you might even talk to your dog or cat. As long as we're getting it out of our heads, it will seriously help us gain tremendous perspective on the challenges that we are facing. So if you feel extremely devastated and you need help, please don't hesitate to seek help if you need help. However, if it's just a moment of just not knowing what to do, please practice some of these techniques, try some of them, reach out to loved ones if you need, and know that you are supported and loved by people that are around you, people that you may not even know are around you, but there are people that care. Bless you. May you have peace, love, and good health. And just remember, you've got this. You are okay. And you are surrounded, whether you can see it or not, by people who truly love you. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you found valuable content in this video. Bye-bye.